anything belongs to you is not you. Do you agree with that? Anything belongs to you is not you, right? For example, you own a house, the house belongs to you. So when the house belongs to you, the house is not you. Having completed the analysis of human composition, now we are going to discuss about consciousness and you. Now, the word consciousness by itself is sometimes analyzed by scientists, sometimes a lot of information had been given by psychologists and philosophers. So first we will see what the scientific community talks about consciousness. If you go online, there's a lot of scientists who attribute consciousness to the brain. If you see, there's so much talk. They talk emphatically that the brain generates consciousness. There's particular one uncle in TED Talk. He gives a lot of information, lot of logical information, and then he emphatically concludes that the brain generates consciousness. Now, if you analyze, if you say brain, that is the one that generates consciousness, he talks about the different aspects of brain, the standard ones, high school stuff, the cerebrum, cerebellum, medulla oblongata. And then he goes on to talk about the neurons, tendons, then synapse, then the connections, that electrical spark connection between the synapses, all that is fine. And sometimes they also include the parasympathetic nerves, the sympathetic nerves. So if you see the human body, when they attribute that the brain generates consciousness, so you collect all the brain, parts of the brain, then the nervous system, then the sympathetic nerve, parasympathetic nerve, just now I mentioned, all these components are available in a dead body. The brain is a fleshy organ. Bottom line, it's made of atoms. Then the nerves are made of atoms. The nerves are there in an alive body, and the same nerves and the same brain is available in a dead body. So how? Where is the consciousness gone in the brain of a dead body? That apart, having emphatically arguing that the brain generates consciousness, till date, scientists have not proven with validation that the brain generates consciousness. Particularly if you see the scientific community, sometimes, I'm not saying all, sometimes some of the scientists, they are like elitist and they want validation. They want experimental proof. So if they are so much particular about validation, experimental proof, in one hand, another hand, without the concrete experimental proof or validation, many scientists declare that the brain generates consciousness. So consciousness one side and brain as a physical fleshy organ one side. So they equate brain and consciousness. Fine, I'm not ridiculing them. There is so much to learn about brain. I agree to that. And in fact, I will do but now particularly this artificial intelligence is booming up. So I'm going to discuss a separate topic about brain, artificial intelligence and consciousness. But as of now, you first understand brain is a fleshy organ. It belongs to the gross physical body. We analyzed the gross physical body in detail earlier. And consciousness one side. This is according to the scientist. Now there are a second set of thinkers, psychologists and some philosophers, I'm not telling all, some philosophers, they equate consciousness to the mind. At least they equate to the mind. We studied the subtle body consists of mind, gross intellect, subtle intellect, memory, ego, and other 15 other components. But as far as the psychologists and some philosophers, they mostly talk about what? They talk about the mind. And this body, mind, soul business everywhere. Body, mind, soul, body, mind, soul. It's a commercial term, body, mind, soul. And many people make money out of it. Fine, if you want to make money, there's nothing wrong with that. But they equate consciousness to the mind, and certain branches, they shoot off to mindfulness, super consciousness, then emotional intelligence, emotional quotient, intelligent quotients, then some kind of awareness. It's fine, they all bits and pieces talk about consciousness, but barring few philosophers, I don't think many of the mass of psychologists and philosophers never analyzed consciousness in a systematic way. So scientists one side equate the gross physical body to consciousness, and some psychiatrists and some philosophers equate the mind to consciousness. At least even if they equate the intellect, they don't bring the intellect in that, sadly. First of all, intellect is not related to consciousness, but the sad thing is that body, mind, soul, the soul aspect is the consciousness they are talking about. In between the huge gap, they miss the intellect. They say body, mind, intellect, soul, at least to some extent they are in the right track. So now, having discussed, we will get into some serious analysis of what the consciousness is. In order that we analyze consciousness, we need to get back to what we studied earlier in terms of the three bodies. The first is the gross physical body. You all understand, you all know, it's easy, evident, even a kindergarten student will say, this gross physical body is made of material, atoms. I wouldn't say kindergarten, a high school student, sorry. So this gross physical body is made of matter, gross matter. Next, what we know is the subtle body. The subtle body consists of mind, gross intellect, subtle intellect, memory, ego, all that, plus 15 other components that we studied. You all know the building blocks of the subtle body are thoughts. And if you get back to the material the thoughts are made of, in previous classes, we concluded that the thoughts are made of combination of pure states of matter. This is a very, very, very tricky thing that we need to understand, that the subtle body is made of matter. It's something difficult for someone to digest. But then, if you go back to the earlier classes, I have explained it in a detailed way, why the thoughts are made of matter, combination of pure states of matter. Even if you doesn't comprehend what I said, as of now, just understand that the subtle body is made of matter. Still, there will be one more class where we are going to analyze in detail about the pure state of matter. This gross physical body and the subtle body, they coalesce into the causal body. Causal body was the container, so it's the subtlest form of matter. So these three bodies are made of matter. So this is the first rule that you have to understand. The gross body is made of matter, the subtle body is made of matter, and the causal body is made of matter. You keep this one side. Now, according to science, according to common sense, according to logic, any matter, any substance or matter, the primary property of matter is it has to be intrinsically inert. Just as you see any gross matter outside, stone, a piece of iron, wood, they are inert objects. So the primary property of inert substance is it has to be, matter is the primary property of material is it has to be intrinsically inert and intrinsically insentient. So matter must be inert and insentient. Now we say the gross physical body is made of matter, subtle body is made of matter, causal body is made of matter. So if you go by science, if you go by logic, these three bodies should be inert. Is that what we are observing? No, right? These three inert bodies are conscious. How this is possible? Seems like a contradiction. One side I am proving that the gross body, subtle body and causal body is made of matter. The other side you are seeing these three matter is conscious. So where did this consciousness come from? That would be the first step in the analysis. So within the personality, there is a fourth factor, that is the consciousness. That's part of the personality. Now before analyzing further, I'll give one example how the inert object are conscious. I'll give you two examples. One example is the moonlight. Moonlight is a misnomer. You all can understand moonlight is a misnomer because in the moon there is no light, but standing from Earth we observe the moon and we see light coming from the moon, right? So when there is no light in the moon as an object, it doesn't have any light by itself. It's just the reflection of the sun. That we see the reflected sunlight, we call it as moonlight. So when there is no light in the moon, we see some light coming from the moon. So this is one example. Another example I think I gave earlier. You're going for a party, the traffic signal, you see a beggar and you give him few dollars and then you go to the party. After some time, you see a guy coming well dressed up with all kind of watch, coat, suit, boot. Looks very nice. He looked very handsome and nice. So immediately, instantly you understand this guy being a beggar, he may not be owning all these clothes, all this hi-fi lifestyle. So you come to a conclusion, he might have borrowed from someone. Likewise, same way the moon had borrowed its light from the sunlight. Now come back to the analysis of the human being. You see the gross physical body, subtle body and the causal body being inert, yet you see them conscious. So what we can conclude is the physical body, subtle body and the causal body should have borrowed consciousness from some other source, right? And that some other source is the pure consciousness. So this pure consciousness should be non-material in nature. This is the first thing that we should derive. Because if it is material in nature, it also would be inert. It would have borrowed, the pure consciousness would have borrowed consciousness from some other consciousness. So that's not the case. So the first rule that we need to understand is this pure consciousness is non-material in nature, right? So you have a material body, the three bodies are material in nature, and you are conscious. So the fourth factor in your personality is the pure consciousness. So you as an individual is combination of the three bodies plus consciousness. The three bodies are bathed in consciousness as it were. Now in this combination, you need to understand what in that combination is you. So who am I? This is the standard question that people have. Who am I? In the combination of consciousness plus the gross body, subtle body, causal body combination, the individual and the consciousness, you need to segregate the material bodies and the non-material consciousness. So in order to segregate the real you, the I, from the combination of consciousness plus the three bodies, we will go in analyzing one statement. As you all thinkers, I make a statement now, and first you accept whether that statement is logically appealing to you or not. So the statement is, anything belongs to you is not you. Do you agree with that? Anything belongs to you is not you, right? For example, you own a house, the house belongs to you. So when the house belongs to you, the house is not you. You have a cell phone, the cell phone as an object that belongs to you. Anything that belongs to you is not you, meaning the mobile phone is not you. As far as the objects outside the individual, you clearly agree to this fact that any object that belongs to you is not you. Take it little closer. This physical body, when you say, I am tired, what exactly you are saying is, my body is tired, right? When you say my body is tired, the body belongs to you. the gross physical body belongs to you. When you say, my hand is aching, my hand, the hand belongs to you. Likewise, the entire physical body belongs to you, which implies the physical body is not you. Anything that belongs to you is not you. Next, come to the mind. The states of mind, you say, when you say, I am angry or I am happy, though you say I am angry, I am happy, but indirectly what you are implying is, my mind is angry or my mind is happy. When you say my mind, the mind is an object, I is the subject. The mind is something as an object that belongs to you. Extrapolate the same thing to the intellect. You declare, I am logical or I am illogical. When you declare that, my intellect is logical, my intellect is illogical. What are the other aspects of the subtle body? Memory, my memory. When you say my memory, I remember, I don't remember. In the sense, my memory remembers, my memory doesn't remember. So, my memory. So, memory as an aspect of the subtle body belongs to you. Likewise, I am so great. When you declare, poor me, is the ego functioning. And you say, well, whose ego? You say it's my ego. So, objects, from the objects, then come to the physical body, is an object that belongs to you. Then the mind belongs to you, intellect belongs to you, memory belongs to you, and the ego belongs to you. So, there seems to be these material components all belong to you. Then who is that you? And you know you are the combination of the consciousness plus the material layers. That you have to agree, because material layers are inert, you are conscious and sentient. If you are sentient and conscient, you have to be the combination of the material layers and consciousness. Now I have enumerated all the material layers in you that belongs to you. Then what is left in the total individuality? And we say the individuality is a combination of consciousness plus the material layers, and all the material layers belong to you. Then who possesses these material layers? What is left in your personality? It's the consciousness. So this is one way to derive. There is another statement, somewhere something close to the earlier statement, anything belongs to you is not you. Likewise, anything experienced by you is not you. Correct? You agree with that? Anything experienced by you is not you. Now, life as such, if you see, is stream of experiences. Right from the time you are born till the time right now you are listening, the entire life is nothing but different stream of experiences. In that different stream of experiences, you will bring down to analyze what is one experience, a unit of experience. You as an individual, as a subject, when you contact an object in the world, there is an experience. Subject contacting the objects of the world, you can say there is a stream of experience. So what are the objects? Objects outside the individual, or the different experiences that you have in life. Eating food, watching a movie, traveling, all those different experiences. Or to an extent, if you are talking about astronomers, they travel to the moon, people are planning to travel to Mars. So and you observe so many distant galaxies. You as a subject, universe, different galaxy at a far distance, you are contacting through the instruments, the telescopes. There is an experience of seeing a distant galaxy. So from your individuality, anything outside is object. So the object is not you, that you agree. You must agree, right? Anything that you experience, the experienced object is not you, because you are the experiencer, the subject. Likewise, you take it one step inside your personality. From the standpoint of the mind, the physical body is an object. This aspect we discussed earlier, subject-object. Subject contacting the object is an experience. And the subject is the experiencer, the object is experienced. So from the standpoint of the mind, you experience the physical body. Likewise, you experience the mind from the standpoint of the intellect. The mind is an object, the physical body is an object, right? From the standpoint of the ego, from the standpoint of the memory, you see the rest of the components are objects. So, coming back one step behind, you experience your ego, you experience your intellect. So, there is an experiencer within your personality, and the experienced are objects. Anything that are experienced are not you, or anything that you experience is not you. So, when you experience your ego, when you experience your memory, when you experience your intellect, when you experience your mind, when you experience your body, when you experience the objects of the world, all those experienced objects are not you. Same thing. Now come back to the combination. You are the combination of all these 5 material aspects that I told you, plus the consciousness. So the experience objects you remove. You remove the physical body, you remove the mind, you remove the intellect, you remove the memory and ego. What is left in the individual combination is the consciousness. Therefore, the experiencer is the consciousness. In the earlier example, the possessor is the consciousness, because the possessor possesses all the material objects, material, the body. When you say my body, that you go back to that logic. So with these two, you can fairly conclude, in your personality as an individual, you must be the consciousness. The rest all are objects that belongs to the individuality. Likewise, you remember we studied the states of experience, the waking state of experience, dream state of experience, and deep sleep state of experience. If you analyze these 3 states of experience, you know, during the waking state of experience, you have a gross physical body, subtle body, right? Now, when you go to the dream, you don't have the same gross body. Only a small aspect of your memory functions. The dream personality is different. In deep sleep state, your personality is dormant. But in and through these states, you say, I am the waker. The same person say, I am the dreamer, and I am the deep sleeper. During these 3 states, we know the individual is a combination of consciousness plus the material layer. Now, if you take the waking state, there is a gross body. In the dream state, it's a dream gross body. And deep sleep state is nothingness. So in and through all these 3 states of experience, when you say I, you know the combination. The combination of you as an individual is consciousness plus the material layers. So in these 3 states of experience, you remove the material layer. That I, it has to be the consciousness, because the I remains the same. Likewise, we analyze the 5 personality layers, which I recently discussed earlier. Just for what it is worth, I'm just reminding you about the 5 personality layers. The food layer, you cannot say I am the body. Food layer is the physical, gross physical body. Because why you say, yesterday you ate pizza and some different food. That food has now become an aspect of your gross physical body. As far as the food is concerned, you are very logical and very emphatic to say the food is not me. The same food, when you ate, it becomes your part of your gross physical body, right? So this food layer is not you, I. When you say I am the body, we are telling you are not the body, because the body belongs to you. Same way you negate the mental layer, intellectual layer, the energy layer. I forgot to mention the energy layer. The order is food layer, energy layer, mental layer, intellectual layer, and the bliss layer. And through all these 5 layers, you say the I pervades. That I is the consciousness. Now within this waking state, from the time you are born, you say, I am a baby. You don't say I am a baby. The others say there is a baby. But when you are really mature enough, you say I am a boy, then I am a teenager, then I am an adult, I am an old man. So in and through that, the physical body changes, the mind changes, the intellect changes, grows. I'm sure it must grow. So in and through that, the I remains constant. And the individuality, again I'm coming back, individuality is combination of the material layers plus the consciousness. And this I, the consciousness, remain throughout this changing phenomenon. So now if you observe, this I is equal to the consciousness, and this becomes an aspect of your personality throughout your life.